Oops. Screen's just gone slightly small matter. Thank you. So you can't move the rear checker. He can play. Well, he has to leave a shot, whatever he does. So the question is, how is he going to leave the shot? And the answer is, you put your opponent on the bar. So 8-4, and then do you play it on? It's very difficult to bring it home if he keeps dumping checkers on the on his inner points. So possibly 8-4, 13-11 here. I don't like this play. Now that's given Lawrence the initiative. So he would have been hit back, but yeah. So this seems perfectly reasonable. Now the question is, Simon's got 2 checkers out of play, the extra checkers on the 3 and 2 point. If he hits the checker on Lawrence's 5 point, that gives Lawrence timing to play the game, but equally well, Lawrence has already made his ace point. So I think he's going to struggle for timing here. But he's taken the double. So now, do you hit or do you not hit? He did hit to give himself time, but Lawrence has got timing now. So 1-2. Now he's got the opportunity to clear the 8 point now, because then at worst he will only ever leave a 7 and a 10 shot. Yeah, this looks right. Double 3. So he's going to run 1. Where's he going? Don't think about this one. That to me is not that clear. But again, his timing is poor. So doing this way, he potentially gets a shot against a blot on the 11 point, if that's where it gets left. Okay. But he's given up some long-term equity here by ceding the 4 point. So Lawrence played that double 3 very, very quickly. And I'd have tried to look at the implications of that before making what was a very committal move. So 6-4, he has to think about also saving the gammon, so this seems logical. So he's now going to play an ace point game. So you have to query the original take, because this is pretty much played out as you would expect, and Lawrence has a 2 point game certainly, but not, sorry, a 1 point game, not really a great 1 point game. And I'm not sure he had the timing to accept the cube. 5, take 2 off, yeah. Okay, the empty 4 point will cause him some problems. I need to keep some spare 2s. But for the moment, he's okay. 5-4. This is ugly now, so there's a lot of numbers leave a shot. So what should Lawrence be doing? Basically saving the gammon and building his 2 point. That's a great roll by Simon. Now there's a big gammon threat. I think this is right. So he's got 10 crossovers left. Now I don't think he can afford. Can he afford to burn a checker? So he's got 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 crossovers left. I mean, this is very pretty. The other way, he'd have got a shot and be closer to saving the gammon. So again, that was a very speedily played double three. It may well have been right, but you need time to look at this stuff. Okay, so now he's going to get the shot. So if he rolls the 4, which he hasn't done, 5, 2, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 crossovers. Ooh, double 2, 1, 2, 3. Well, he's going to have to hit, so because otherwise he leaves a shot. So that's 2, 3, 1 for luck. He's got 8 crossovers left. Lawrence cannot afford to fan, which he hasn't. So 23 pips. So this is going to be very close. You can't afford a bad number. That's very close to a bad number. So 1 double for Simon. Or 1. So basically, he's now big favourite to win the gammon. So that's going to be 5. 5 must be right. So 1. There's only double 4, 5, and 6 save the gammon. Nothing else works. So 3 rolls to save a gammon. Otherwise, he's 4-0 down. And of course, he rolls double 6. So there we are. There's only 2-0 down. So the key position there was really the double. So Simon correctly played on for the gammon, and then had a couple of bad rolls, and Lawrence rolled well. At the point where he cubed, Lawrence had a poorly timed 1-4 back game, and he'd already made his ace point. All of those are factors indicating it would be close. So I'd have thought longer than Lawrence did. That's all I can say. I'd have to look at the position in a lot more depth to say whether it was a double intake or not. Okay, so with a standard opening in the next game. Pop up, pop down. Yeah, this is standard backgammon. No excitement. Double 3 is a little bit of excitement. Now, do you make the 3-point or the 5-point? Make the prime or distribute the checkers effectively? So, I always like making the 5-point in this situation. So, 4 and 2. So this looks like you split at the back and come down to protect the outfield. So it goes all the way. Either play 24, 20, 13, 11. 1, 2. This doesn't, this looks right. All 3 runs away. Okay. So Lawrence has the security of a 2-point anchor for a long time. This looks like one of those situations where you don't play 13-7, 6-1, but you just play 13-2. He's outboarded, and stripping the last spare off the 6-point would not be right. 6-4 makes the bar point. You can run away, but an asset is an asset.
Hello, world.
Threatening to
this is Cecilia calling.
Constrain the last rear checker, and by making the bar, he keeps the pressure on the blot on the 2-point.
Is anyone else doing commentary?
I don't know.
Okay, so
Everyone wants to do it, do they?
So make the bar, I think.
I want to be famous.
Just a few adjustments being made to the actual screen presentation at the moment. I'm not sure about this.
It's great. It's really good.
I like the asset. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
I love it. I love watching the live streams.
I'm thinking. Who said? Julian.
Yeah. Big play. Fine. 5-4, 5-6. 3-6. Whoops.
And then he will do
right.
But from here, and then you can both.
2-6. 2. Now do you come out and threaten all the blots? I'd have looked at coming out. This is not unreasonable. $136 plays. So black is only 9 pips ahead here, according to my calculation. So there are virtually no market losing sequences. Maybe making the bar or the 8 point, actually. But are there enough of those to justify cubing? And also don't forget that Simon is 2-0 up. So he's going to be more hesitant about doubling, because doubling the cube is worth a lot more to the trailer than to the leader. Yeah, so I'm just trying to check. It's 127 plays 136. And according to my calculations and my little friend, this is just a double, but a very easy take. I would make the point here. He's not really, when you've got the chance to make the asset, take the asset. Okay, so he's picked up another 4 pips in the race, and he's also got a safe landing point for his outfield checkers. So this must be more of a double this turn than it was last turn. It's one of those things that's probably still a double, still a take. 4. So you can play 13 to 4. Yeah. This looks better than clearing the 10 point. So he's gained more pips in the race, except that he hasn't quite. So 6-3. I think you've got to contest the outfield. You could run away with 23-14, but if it's missed, so what? You need return shots in a situation like this. So he needs to run out with the 6 because they don't grow on trees, and play 8-5. If then Simon hits with a 2, he gets return shots, and also true, obviously, if he hits with a 5 and can't safety the block. So you've come out with the 6, and you either play 8-5 or 6-3. There won't be much difference between. This is absolutely wrong. You can't afford to do that. You don't kill checkers. Walter Trice had a chapter in his book called "Don't Kill the Checkers," I think. There are 3 checkers on the 23 point at the moment for Lawrence, so one of those is unemployed at the moment. And therefore he needs to go with one of them. I'll just pop this into our silicon friend, Extreme Gammon. 8-2, 6-3 is a 2.5 blunder and gives an immediate drop. So that's how bad that move is. So it's the right 6, but the wrong 3. Now there's no contact between the checkers on the 23 point and the checkers on the 14 point. Now I would have thought this should be a double by Simon. Now he has market losing sequences. I see Lawrence hasn't picked up the dice yet. So I think whatever he plays, Simon still has a double. It's not a hugely volatile position, but he has a long-term advantage, and here it comes. Okay, sorry, he had picked up the dice. So it's correct double, correct take. 2 is good and split 6 to 5. Okay. Not a great time to fan. Combination of small numbers would be very powerful. This is not so good. So probably clear the 10 point with 10 to 5, 10 to 4. It certainly isn't going to give it voluntary shots for anything. And clearing the 10 point, A clears the point, obviously, but B gives very good distribution of the checkers. Yeah. Don't see that he has a great deal of choice here. 1, 2, 3. And you don't put the checkers out of play, so that's correct. Double 2. Small numbers still work. Big numbers, they go all the way, basically. Okay. The 9 would make him very happy. 8. 1 pimple from paradise, as they say. Out with the 6, I think. Again, they don't grow on trees. And you keep the contact. I think you keep the contact. Now, yeah. Six and 2, just run away. All right, now Simon will have his difficulties clearing this because he hasn't got his 3 points, so he would love to roll 3-2. That's a wonderful roll. Okay. So Lawrence is going to face the same dilemma as last time shortly. There's a small gammon risk here. 2 and 1. Ooh, so what do we do here? We don't pile them all up on the 4 point. That doesn't look right. That looks good. So as I said when commentating on the last game, once you clear the 6 point, you reduce your chances of being hit by 30%. So Simon will be hoping for a roll that clears his 6 point. It's a moot point whether Lawrence should have stayed here, because if he doesn't clear the 6 point, well, he does clear the 6 point, so right. But small number combinations crunch his board and put him at a gammon risk, and it's going to go anyway, 6-5. Right, he's hoping from the same roll from Simon. 3-1, what a cracker. Okay, now the gammon threat is on again. No, it isn't. 6-5. So this is going to be a single game unless something goes particularly odd. It's a start, double 3, but it won't be enough. 5-2. This is not a play worth spending a great deal of mental energy on. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, it doesn't take any checkers off. I suppose if Lawrence will double 6 now, it'll at least be interesting. 3-2 probably doesn't qualify as a great roll there. 6 and 2. Not saves the gammon, that's always the first objective. But he'll be conceding this fairly shortly, I would imagine. Yeah. So I might as well roll, because technically he can still win this. Could take Simon 5 rolls to get off. If he rolls 2-1 5 times, that will take him 5 rolls to get off. Meanwhile, we're now going to pass the point of, that's the end, okay, of that one. So it's 4-0 to Simon. Good double, good take. Small number of technical inaccuracies during the game, but then we all do that. It's a difficult game. Right? And it's so much easier commentating than it is playing, believe me. You see things when commentating you just don't see over the board for whatever reason. And you're also under the pressure of actually playing in the event. So the correct play here is just down, split at the back. Once the spare checker's gone off the 8 point, you all split it, or nearly all split at the back. Oh, double 1. So, does he gain any advantage? Ooh, is that right? Not sure I like that play hugely. Because then you've got, if you make that play, you've then got the 8 point and the 2 point, which all can't form part of the same prime. You've only got 8 checkers in the attack zone. Okay, so he's still on the bar, but obviously he's nowhere near a double, even at 0-4, but apparently it is a double, so there you go. Let's consider this one. It's certainly a take. I can't see that anybody is going to drop this. Simon has all his checkers in play. And he has so Lawrence obviously has a number of threats. He could roll an 8, he could roll a big double, and in general, obviously, he has a strong position, which isn't going to go away overnight. And it's volatile, so because if he executes any of those threats, then Simon will drop. So he's still thinking. Okay. So again, because they're taking a lot of time, I've been able to put this into XG. This is a big double, but it's not an easy take, but it would be a blunder to drop. So for money, this would be only just a double. But the fact that the score is 4-0 is an influencing factor, because obviously for Simon, he'll be quite slow in redoubling to 4. And he has taken. So well played, Simon. Now let's see what happens. So now we're going to get, he's going to do this. Two, 1. It looks more logical to have split at the back and come down with an extra checker in the outfield, but because he was playing offense and now he's suddenly sort of switched to defense, or partial defense then. As the Americans would say in American football, when you're on offense, play offense, or when you're on defense, play defense, but don't often mix the two. So the game has gone well since the double for Simon, although this is a strong roll by Lawrence. Double 4, yeah. So he still has an advantage from his double, but Simon has a well-placed set of checkers now. They're all working. Obviously, the checkers on the ace point are stranded. 3-2 looks correct. Now Lawrence would love to make the bar or the 3 point. Neither of the above. So now what do you do? It looks like you just play 13 to 10. I'm not sure, why does he want the 8 point? It doesn't add any value because he's already got the 2 point. So I would button up the plots. It's only 6-2, but B2. not yet time for a desperation play. No, I think he can still do what he's done, bring 2 checkers down with the idea of making the bar. 5 and 2. Okay. So Simon ideally would love a roll that made his bar point now. There's a question as to whether he should have come up with the 2 there to put pressure on the 9-point checkers. And now he's rolled the magic 6-2. I know. This could take some time. So this is play A. And the slight weakness created by Lawrence with that 2-1 certainly has given him pause for thought here. If you do this, then you're giving the tempo back to Lawrence. Any 6 is quite. They've got lots of good numbers. I think we're in the countryside of when in doubt hit here. 4s and 5s return, 4-6, but you've already counted the 4s anyway. Any 5 or 6 doesn't hit back. So it always looks scarier than it is. So again, we've had time to put this into the computer while the players think about it. The correct play is 24-16 hitting, at least according to Extreme Gammon, whom I'm prepared to listen to. Making the 4-point is an error, but not a blunder. The problem is if you make the 4-point, what are you going to do next? You've still got 2 checkers trapped behind a 4-point prime and potentially a 5-point prime if Lawrence rolls well. Simon's been given the chance to take the initiative here. And yes, there's risk, but backgammon is a game of risk and reward throughout. And learning how to balance those risks and rewards is what is the difference between a good player and a bad player. Okay, so you hit and your opponent rolls double 4 or something and you feel you've made a mistake and you castigate yourself for it. But no, at the end of the day, if you hit and you're happy with the play and you get hit back, then that's life, that's backgammon. You have to accept it. It's not like other games where you can expect to win every game that you play. You have to accept the fact you're going to lose. This looks nice, but is not the best play. Let's see what Lawrence can do in response. 1-3, so he wouldn't have been hit back. This is right now because if Simon comes up with 2 at some point, holding a 9-point is important. So the next couple of rolls will be crucial here. 4-1 would be double 3, just makes the 3-point, I think. 1, 2, 3, 1 for luck. Yeah. And Simon's left with the issue that he had before of basically he's still got 2 checkers back to 1. And now his opponent's just made the bar. So you've got a prime against prime game where the player with the 1 checker's got an immediate exit and the player without hasn't. So now how do you play 5-4? 4, 5, 5, 4. So you've either got to attack or hope that your opponent will crash. If you do this, then I think you've got to play 11-7 because you're trying to make a prime. So this looks logical. But he's been forced into this because of that 6-2 play. But it may yet work. So all he needs now is a 2-1. 6-3, okay. 2 is a good number. And safety's the blot, 4. So Lawrence is a big favourite here. Simon needs 2 2s and 2 5s. 4-1 is an awful roll. And puts him in danger of losing a gammon. So he can't even play it safely. Wow. What an ugly, ugly roll. If you can't play it safely, you minimise shots. So the 4 comes in. The question is, how do you play the 1? Yeah, this doesn't minimise shots. I'd probably have played 8 to 7. So, all right, now he can make his 3 point, which I believe is the right play. So he makes full prime, has some spares, and his opponent still has to play. And you want your opponent to crunch the board. Alternatively, you hit, because that puts another man back. But it may delay Simon long enough that he can hold his front position. So normally when a full prime is on offer, you take it. There have to be good reasons not to take it. But the extra checker back, actually, one thing I hadn't considered. So if you do hit the checker, there are probably more immediate crushing numbers. So say it comes in with a 1-5 or something, then that destroys the board and increases the gammon percentage. So I think that's the right play in retrospect. So this is one of those weird occasions when making the full prime would have been wrong. So now he can must make the 3 point, surely. Yeah. It pays off to 1-6, but even then he's still got to roll another 2 6s. So what? Why would he? Oh, yeah. He rolled, of course, the 1-6. There you go. That's backgammon for you. Well, that was a very interesting play, one I hadn't considered, I have to say. Now, a quick check on that 4-1 play, just while they're working out what to do. But that was kind of a bad error by Lawrence. Yes, he'd have been punished because his opponent rolled a 17 to 1 shot. But, that was a strange play. So 4-2. I think you can I don't think you muck about with the checkers in the inner board here. At this point, he's not going to crash with 6s or 5s. Oh, sorry, there's only 2 to play. I missed the first half of the roll. So I would make the 2 point. You never know when you might need a 5 point board. 6-5 leaves a shot. That's does 6-4. 3-2. So do you leave 6-2 against a 5 point board by clearing the bar? Or do you come in and leave some horror numbers for next time, like 6-5? So against a 4 point board, I'm definitely clearing the bar point. Against a 5 point board, I think the fact that he's actually got, I think this is right, because not only he's got to hit, he's got to escape the other checkers as well, and you've got an entry point even if you do get hit. So this is man in, man off. Okay, so Simon very quickly needs a 6 It's not a 6. Not a lot of difference on the 1. It's hardly ever going to remake the 5 point and use that as a threat. I think here, yeah. Is that right? You could play, I think you play 6 to 4 to 2 with the 2, because you want to keep the board as long as possible here, because there's a very real gammon threat. This leaves 6-5, leaves a double shot, and 5-4 leaves a shot as well. 4-2. Again, given that your opponent's got 2 open points for you to come in, 6, 12, 18, he's got 54 pips, 55 pips to roll to save the gammon, which is 7 rolls. And there are 7 rolls for blue to bear off, so the gammon race could be close. If he plays 6-2, actually, I think actually clearing the 6 point is going to be correct, because he's not going to be able to power efficiently anyway. Double 6, that's going to do that 1. You might as well wait for the possibility of 5-4 or 6-4, I guess, here. And I think you just play 18 to 12 twice. Yes, you might get pointed on. This will be close. I mean, Simon's hardly ever going to win this game. And it may be better to accept the fact that you're not going to win the game and run away. Or 2 off. B2, can't take any crossovers, so she just keep them going. There's virtually no difference in the double 6 plays. 4 and 1, so he's got 8 checkers left. 2, 4, 5, 6. So we've had all 3 games could have been gammon so far, but actually, unless Lawrence rolls very well, this will not be a gammon. So only 5 or 6, pretty good here. 6-3, 6-3, and in. Notice that, oh, hello. It's not quite good enough. Right. Notice that double 5 doesn't save the gammon for black. Oh, 5-1 does though. So there you go, 4-2. That was an interesting game which really hinged on Simon's play of the 6-2, and I think those are incredibly difficult plays to find, particularly over the board. You give it to top players as a quiz and they'll find the right answer. Put them under the pressure of playing the super jackpot and they'll err on the side of caution. And that's, I think, what happened there. And of course, even when we're looking at XG evaluations, to get a really accurate evaluation, you have to do the rollout, and that has to be done in the calm of one study after the event. So. Good number for Simon. Okay, so now we're back to a mutual holding game. This will probably not be that exciting. We're waiting for a big double, and it's arrived already. So he's already rolled double 6, and now he's rolled double 4. And it will be time to do some counting. That's a poor roll. $127 for Simon. And 49 is 22 pips ahead, so it's certainly a double. Given that he's got so many landing points, It's going to be borderline as to whether Lawrence will accept this. He's got a lot of time to clear that midpoint. He has no structural weaknesses, and 22 pips is a lot. I would expect Lawrence to drop this, but we will see. There's very little skill, obviously, involved in this position as well. So sometimes you can take doubles because you think you can outplay your opponent. But that's very difficult in a position like this because the tactics for playing it are so straightforward. Okay. And he dropped it. That's logically what I would expect there. And Simon just rolled incredibly well. Nothing he can do, just give it up, move on to the next game. If only backgammon were that easy all the time. Anyway, then you wouldn't play it really, would you? So 6-3, this is where you run away with the 6-3. Out and down doesn't work once your opponent's split the back checkers, so this is correct. 6 and 4. Okay, 2 point. Just had a quick look at that double in Extreme Gammon. It was a double and drop, as we expected. Here he'll just run away and hope that he doesn't get hit with a 3. So, which he doesn't. Up and down, yeah. So neither side has made huge advances, though of course Lawrence has managed to clear his thing. Now with the poor, oh sorry, that's 5-3. I thought it was 4-3. Here, I think you make the point because you're going to need it at some future time. This leaves no returns. I imagine we'll do 2 and 1. Yeah. So 3 point holding game. Everyone will tell you that 3 point holding game is a take forever. Now you've got to make the 4 point with the 6-4. If you get hit with a 7, you get a return shot, and now you've got a bit of structure. 6-3, down and make the point. A lot of these games can play themselves, really. He's not going to run away. This is not the time to run. Yeah. Common beginner's error is to see the 6-3 as safetying the one of the rear checkers and go, but as you're not winning the race, it's not a very bright idea. 3-2. He's building up a strong home board so that when he does run, his opponent will be less inclined to attack him. So the 3 comes down. The question is, where does the 4 go? You could start the 2 point here, making some use of his checkers, which he does. 5 and 2, 2 in. So Simon will build a strong board and then make a decision. So, and Lawrence is doing much the same on his side, though of course he has to take more care. 5, 1. Right, Simon's ready. And I don't think there are that many shot-leaving numbers. That's certainly not a shot-leaving number. So the 6 and the 2 comes in, despite the strippage. Playing 4-2 would be very wrong in here, or 6-4. So if you come in 6-1, leaves an indirect shot. That's about it. He's warming up. He's warming up with his 6-1. So, yeah. Midnight close. So blue is 6 pips ahead, which is obviously not a double, despite the fact he's got a shot as well. He's not going to lose his market. A hit and a fan might just about generate a thing, but that doesn't happen often enough to make this a double. All 3 might. Now it's more interesting. Is that right? I would look at making the 5 point and bringing the other two down. This way you're creating points that need to be, yeah. I think this is reasonable, but I would certainly have looked at the other play. Right, so now it's a different situation. 75, 86, 90 plays 84, 81, 96, 100. 90 plays 100. But he's also got two checkers trapped behind 4 point prime. So this looks like double and take. That's precisely what's happened. This is good. So two of them are easy. Yeah. Despite the fact 6-4 leaves a shot next time, this is probably right because it stops your opponent's double sixes. 5 and 6 to 5, I'm guessing. I think that play made double 4 ugly next time. It's always good to look at anti-jokers. So try not to roll double 4 here. Okay, 3 and 1. 4 and 2, so it's not going anywhere. Oh, there it is. Double shotty. Terrible roll. He's going to play 9 to 5. So that whole question about how he played the double 3 earlier and then potentially the double 2, again, those are things I'd go back and look at after the match to see whether my over-the-board opinion is equal to the analysis. So he doesn't really have a choice for that 6-4. Anything else is wrong. So this is nowhere near a redouble, but it will be in a minute. So if he hits and he fans, which is the, yeah. So now do you take a roll for potentially win a gammon? So you're 5-2 up. You can certainly cash and be 7-2 up. So take a non-hitting roll, 6-1, followed by your opponent entry. Even with 2 in the air and a closed board, you win a gammon 40% of the time. Yeah, I think this is right. You just cash. I don't think there's any way on earth that Lawrence is going to take this. It requires Simon not to roll a 4, then Lawrence to roll a 6. So, yeah, 7-2. So I think both players are playing well. Yes, there have been some errors, as I've said before, but you expect errors in backgammon. So, extreme gammon plays to a performance rating of 0. The best players in the world can probably play around 2.1, 2.2 a lot of the time. Good players will be around the 4 mark. I would say both players are playing well. Looks like we're on a break. So the commentator will fall silent for the time being until they come back. Well, looks like we're back. Setting up the board. So Simon needs 4, Lawrence needs 9. Simon obviously listens to music while he's playing. He's got some headphones in. And away we go. So Lawrence will be doubling aggressively, particularly if there's any gammon threat. But if Simon continues to roll this well, he's going to win the match. So it's a huge advantage rolling boxes first roll response. This should be down and split at the back. Oh, okay. I would have thought splitting it back was right because it puts no pressure on. Sorry, because it does put pressure on. Then this way, there is no pressure. He rolls 2, 6, 5. So the problem with not having split is he's now forced into an ace point game. So my instinct there was obviously to come up with that 5-3. Yeah, and I was right. I just a quick look. Some things you get so used to seeing that when somebody does something different, it looks very unnatural. And that 5-3 by Lawrence to me looked unnatural. Now he's faced with a problem because basically he's behind in the race. He's going to have to split his rear checkers at some point here. He's going to have to take some risk, or else those black checkers will just come rolling down. The points will be made, and either he'll cash or be able to play on for a gammon. So I think this is the right play. He's got to put some pressure on those outer board checkers. Certainly, if this was a money game or the score was level, I'd be doubling here. What can we see? He's still thinking about doubling. I mean, obviously, it's a strong position. Is it good enough to double? He's only 8 pips ahead, actually, so I doubt whether he'll be doubling this. Oh, double 4, wow. Now it'll be too good if Lawrence fans. No, he hasn't fanned. 2, 6. So now he's ahead in the race, he's ahead in threat, and he's ahead in position because he has the better 4-point board. The 2 stacks of checkers weigh against him. Should that deter him from doubling is the key question. So let's have a look. Oh, sorry, I missed the duck. I looked away for a moment and he doubled and passed. Which was perfectly correct. A gammon loss there would have lost the match for Lawrence, and he's better off playing from 8-2 down. Okay, so this is going to be hit and down, so more standard opening theory. Oh, double 3, nice roll. 1, smack, And smack again. Yeah. We've seen it all before. Double one. Now then. This looks the better play. Lawrence has only one cover number plus some indirects. Meanwhile, Simon has a long-term asset. 6-1's not outstanding. So the 6 is going to come in by playing 11 to 5. Then it's a question of how you play the 1. This is the 6. So you either step up to the 4 point, yeah, or 7, 9 checkers in the attack zone. So this is going to be a hit. Yeah. There wasn't too much choice there. 2-6 is a dreadful roll. Lawrence hasn't had the best of the dice, it has to be said. I would not be giving up my anchor here. Would I be giving up my anchor? So if he comes out with a 6, 6s and 1s hit, this looks more logical. You're already behind, so you don't mind being further behind. That play has worked quite well. 4, and then it's a question of 3. Now, given the situation on the other side of the board, well, actually 8 to 5 is also reasonable. If you play 13 to 10, it takes the last. Oh, okay. Why do you need to do this? Possibly. That potentially gives Lawrence an attack. But he, again, has failed to roll anything like a reasonable number. So, how do we play this? I think the 3 is going to be played 6 to 3. Then you come out with the 5, which gives 6s, 1s, and 3s. That's going to be the, yeah. Now, or you can hit with the 5, but you've only got 9 checkers in the attack zone. But if you don't hit, what are you going to do? Yeah. Simon will then play on. So another difficult position. Do you take the risk? The trouble is, now his army is in 2 things. I would have looked at the bold play of coming out to your opponent's bar point there. 4-3, so he's going to hit. And in fact, coming out to the bar point would work really well. Just that sort of one roll thing. Now he's too good. He's going to. So you could hit again, but equally well, making the bar is very strong here. I quite like this play. Lawrence is in a lot of trouble here, even with a 1-5. You lose a lot of gammons from this position as blue. He may fan, and Lawrence may turn it round. Again, for money, I think you just cash this. At this score, this is a hugely lopsided score. Given that Lawrence has an anchor and potentially a second anchor, I would be surprised if this was a correct double. Just because the recubed 4 with the potential gammon win of 8, you've got to be very, very careful when you've got a large lead in a match. So let's see. I think you should play on. So it's not good enough to double too good, which is a rare thing. So let's, again, he's taken a lot of time, so I've managed to put this into the computer. This is no double. It's a very easy take if doubled. Very easy take. There's not a lot of difference in the equity value between no double and double, but Lawrence cannot drop this. This will be a free point, all right? His checkers are all in play, albeit not in the best position in the world. And of course, we haven't even discussed the difference between a good practical double and a theoretical double. So this is a great practical double because Lawrence may well drop. But he could play a 1-2 back game. He might make the 3 point. Black could fan and Lawrence could win with a blitz. All of these events are unlikely, but and he's dropped. So it's a fantastic practical double by Simon. Very, very interesting. So never forget, you're playing a human being. Human beings make mistakes. 2, so obviously the correct play is 5-2 when you've got a large lead in a match. I don't think that's the right play even at this score. Normally the correct play with 5-2 in response to 5-2 is just a split. So yeah, this is going to be right now. 3-2, so take the anchor. And you can afford to attack now, having established an anchor. Not a great anchor, but an anchor. 1. Now think. Think you want this. Lawrence wants to create gammonish positions, so hitting on the 5 point is not the sort of position that's going to create gammon potential for him. Even if it's theoretically correct, I'm not wholly convinced by this play. That passing up the chance to make your 5 point in a game where you desperately need gammonish positions. It's not a good idea. Now, how do you play the 6? Okay, he's going to keep the anchor. In skewed score positions, there's quite often a lot of difference between the money play and the match play, just because of the gammon threat. Is that legal? 6-2 or 4-2? Oh, sorry. Right, 2 and down with a 6. He could come out. Oh no, he can't. Sorry, I thought it could come off the 9 point. So he could come off the 22 point. He's got the better board. Equally well, you can outthink yourself sometimes, and I think this is the right play. 6 and 4 is a good number. 6, and I would just do what he's done, which is to run away. His opponent's still got the better board, so I think playing 6-2 here is an overplay. Simon has an anchor; he'll have it forever. You're not going to blitz him. What you need to do is get to a position where you've got a clear advantage and be able to put some pressure on with the cube. If he hits with a 4, I don't see that it gains enough to warrant the play. He's obviously thinking about it. Let's have a look at the clocks at this point. So Simon has used more time than Lawrence. Lawrence still got 7 minutes, more than 7 minutes in his bank. What he's got to be thinking to himself is, how can I reach a position that will give me the opportunity to turn the cube and put some pressure on Simon? think he's better to play potentially for an outside prime because he can't blitz him. Still thinking about it. He hasn't even looked at it. Sometimes it helps to actually move the checkers and see what the play would look like. So he's gone for the double hit. As I say, I'm not sure that it gains enough to make it valid, but obviously now he has the opportunity to make his opponent's bar, which has succeeded. So maybe the hit was correct because of the tempo to make the opponent's bar. But again, we've had time to put this in the computer, and actually just hitting and running away was correct. Lawrence's play was an overplay. So double three is not a thing of beauty. 2 point. I can understand him wanting to keep the rear checker. So this plays itself, 4 and 3. So the problem with Simon's position is now you've got some checkers out of play, 5, and I would split at the back. You don't want 3 checkers on the 22 point. Yeah. So if he gets pointed on, well, that's not, makes the 4 point. It's not going to be a difficult play to find. So Simon would like to roll a 4, really. That's not a 4. And he plays 6-5. I think you probably want to keep the pressure on the 11 point here. Yes, you can do this, but you're sort of putting yourself in a 3 point holding game ultimately. That's just going to come all the way in. Yeah. The trouble is Lawrence really doesn't have enough threats. Rolling successive double 3 doesn't help. So 1, 2, but then you're going to have to play. Actually, you can play 6-3 and 8-5 here. It keeps the pressure everywhere. Yeah. This looks the logical play because all of Lawrence's outfield points are stripped, which means something is going to have to give unless he rolls something like 4-1 and can play it inboard. So this to me looks like the right play. Oh, and a double. Now the question is, does he have enough threats to warrant that double? If you're going to roll double 6, that's certainly going to help. If you knew he was going to roll double 6, it was definitely a double. And that one roll has completely changed the complexion of the game. So now he comes up with the 2 because he needs a runner with the 6. So 4-1. So now crucial roll. If Simon can roll a 6, he's in the game. If he doesn't roll a 6, 6-3, lovely roll, fantastic roll. I think you just got to keep it going because you need a spare to play with. Yeah. Now what? Oh, double 5. The man is obviously a professional backgammon player. 3-2. Yeah. 6-5 would be ugly. Double 5 is ugly. Lawrence he's had some good dice in this game, but that's a very poor set now. 1 and swap the bar with the 4. You might need it in a later life. Okay. Doesn't want any 5s or funny 5s. Let's put it that way. 6-2 is definitely ugly. Yeah. Now, basically, any 3 by Simon will probably win the match. So an interesting point. I wasn't sure that Lawrence had a double. I'm not sure he was far enough into the doubling window to warrant doubling, despite the score. If he'd waited a roll, obviously he would have been able to cash. Was it right to double or not? I'm not sure. This is going to be played safe. There's no way on earth he's going to leave a voluntary shot. He's going to play 2 to 1 with a 1. Yeah. He's still got work to do to clear those rear checkers. Any combination of 3, 4, and 6, which is, does that include the doubles? Double 4, yeah. That's 9 numbers plus double 2, double 1. 6, 4 is a great number. Very little gammon threat here, so I'm not sure I would run quite so soon. 6 and 3. Okay. 6 and 5. So 8 numbers next turn, leave a shot. 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, 1, 6, 1. Anything for the crowds here? Yes. You take the extra checker off here because sometimes it's right to hit because you win more gammons when the guy stays out, but when you've only got a 2-point home board, that's rarely right. 1, 2, 3, and it doesn't matter what he plays. It would be a truly remarkable win by black to win this one. 6, 4, needs 3, needs 4 doubles, and he's only got 3 rolls left, so it's not going to happen. Okay, end of that one. So Simon had the first game-winning opportunity or match-winning opportunity there, but he didn't roll the requisite 3. So we're now at 9-4. Lawrence will still be looking for gammonish cubes. He'll still be looking to double quicker, and this is the right play with 6-4 when you're trailing. Double 2. Now normally you would play 2 down with the other 2 here. Score might influence him, but this is such a strong structure. I think this is correct. 4 and 3. No, yeah. The only problem with 6-4 as an opening roll, if nothing much happens, it's awkward trying to build the position because the 8-point and the 2-point can't form part of the same prime. So here's just going to make the 4-point. Yeah. 7s and 8s are good. There are lots of other good numbers. Then you can just hit double 2. Yeah. 1 and 6 got to come out. Now again, Simon would be probably doubling for money, but or an even score. Although that's really going to come off there. Probably it's a close play again. He didn't look at that for very long, so can you afford to leave 6, 3, double 3, and 5, 4? He thinks not. And you're at basic. Oh, that's going to be interesting. Is this the right play? 40, 79, 88, 96, 120, 128. 132 for blue. Next 3-point. What? Okay, he's playing it purely. Yeah, I think this keeps the more flexible structure. Oh, double four. So now it's time to do some sums. Looks like Lawrence is ahead. If he makes 5 points, starts 3 point, and 6-1 is bad next time. Everything else is all right. Is it worth protecting against 6-1 for the purity? 6, 3, 59, 53. So Simon's count is 114. And Lawrence's count is 111. So this is a 3-pip race. So I would play this purely. So I would not play 6-2. And I would take the risk of playing 7-3. It's much purer, and black has a blot in his inner board. So we're potentially protecting against phantoms here. It's certainly not right to stay back with the double four because he will run out of time before Simon. So coming out with the 2 4s is perfectly correct. But I don't like his last 4, which he's at the moment is playing 6-2. So it's always good to check the race. So perhaps I'll just do it again for the sake of 659. Definitely 114 for black. And 111 for blue. So a 3-pip race, you might yet want the 3 point. So if he doesn't come out, he's going to regret it. I think he's got to have some playability in the position. Okay, so we've stuck this in our old friend, and the right players to come out with 2, make the 5 point, and start the 3 point. Playing 6-2 with the last 4 is a tiny error. This doesn't feature in XG's top 10 plays, so there's absolutely no way that those checkers should remain on the 20 point. He's ahead in the race, so race. Okay, it's only 3 pips. What are you going to do next time if you do this? If you make the 5 point, you'll be forced off the 20 point at precisely the wrong moment. So he must come out with the first 2 4s. It's really just an exercise in logic. The only best thing you can say about this play is it's legal. So you'll have 2 more checkers to move, and after that, any 6 is potentially going to have to come off the 20 point at the time when your opponent has built his board. Now this is quite a big mistake. So you can make, so this is 5-3 and 6-2 only. 4-1, yeah. Now Simon can clear that point, hopefully, with a 4. And then he's going to bring the 2 in. He would love to make the ace point, but he can't. I'm not sure you want to... That's very pure. That might give him the opportunity of running. So it's an interesting question. They didn't even look at running with the 6-2. Because actually he wouldn't have been hit with the 4-2. Now we've reached the point I discussed earlier. If he rolls the wrong 6 here, he's squeezed, or the wrong 5, he's squeezed off that point. It's unfortunate. He probably wants to keep the block, yeah. It's ugly, but it's probably the best of an ugly selection. So, do you go? So, if he doesn't go, he's got to crash his board. So we reach the position that I predicted earlier, where he's squeezed at precisely the wrong moment. So 42, 45, 51, 91, size 82. So Lawrence will be 82 pips after the roll. And Simon is 87 pips. So Lawrence is 5 pips up after the roll. So what are you going to do next time if you don't go now? I think you've got to go now. And that's not a great roll. So he's going to be forced into this. Yeah. So, yeah. So this has actually worked out pretty well for Lawrence. The question is, can he roll a good number to get round? That's a good number. Two, three, one for luck. Next 4. It'll be time to do the sums again in a minute. 6 and 1. So 55 plays 59. So it's 4 pips ahead and he's same number of checkers off. So at this score, it's nowhere near a cube. So that was 7 pips. He's 11 ahead. Now he's 8 ahead. There comes a time, people are sometimes very hesitant about doubling in positions like this. Because obviously if Simon doubles, then the cube will come back on 4, but equally well, he'll win the game if he wins he'll win the match if he wins the game. So for money, this is certainly a double, and he's I believe done the right thing. Oops. So, Florence, right. So he's 8 pips ahead, and he's got an extra checker off, so it's effectively sort of 10 pips ahead. If he drops, it'll be 10-4, and he has dropped. So he'd rather play from 10-4. That's probably right. So huge double pass. So now Lawrence has to win 4 games in a row. So got about 7% in winning chances. Right, off we go. Crawford game. No more difficult doubling decisions to be made. 6. Or 6. Okay. So we'll have a hitting contest until somebody misses or rolls a double, does something useful. That's an ugly roll. That is a very ugly roll. He has no tempo hit. Doesn't want to expose another block, so one of the 2 rear ones will come out. So it looks so you can duplicate 3s or 4s. Chosen to duplicate 3s. So 3, You take an anchor. Losing a gammon is irrelevant, Simon, so just wants to make the best play. Double six is not a good selection. Double five, 1-2. I think you just make the ace point. You go for the blitz here. To 5. That's a great number for Lawrence. 6 and 1. So you hit twice again. Continue the blitz. Oh no, not 6-3. It's horrendous. So 1. Probably in. Oh, I see. Sorry. Yeah, forgot. You just keep blitzing. Make sure the opponent can't anchor. 2 and something. 6. Sometimes when you're at Crawford, it's right not to go completely blitz mad, but here he's definitely going to continue the blitz. So he's got 8, 9. So there's potential for a lot of checkers in the attack zone. Ooh, that's a great number. 4-3. So he's going to hit with only 4 or 5. But not 6-1. So now this looks like the right play. He's going to take some security. Now, of course, Lawrence still has to come in, which he fails to do. So the blitz will recommence with a 4 or a 5. So 5 he's going to hit. So he can go absolutely all out and play 13 to 11 here. 1, 2, 3, that's 7 blocks. Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe the gung ho play was right, but 4. 5 would be good. That's not a 5. So I can now take the security of the anchor. Obviously, is well ahead in the race, and change of game plan. But again, a 5 would be great. That's the 5. Now think about the 6. Yeah, that's probably right. The technique of bringing home positions like this has changed radically since the advent of the bots. Now, the question is, well, you don't want the 9 point because you'll have to clear it later. So I would just come out, yeah, I'll do this. Right. So Lawrence desperately needs to roll a 4 pretty soon so that he can actually start to build a board to prevent Simon just rolling past him, basically. So 5, 1. There's an argument that when you've got lots of blots in positions like this, the blots actually protect themselves to a certain extent. Now 6. No, it's not a 6. So now it gets a little bit more exciting. 5, 2. Yeah, he's not exactly being hemmed in yet. So, ooh, now what? 1, 2. I think you've just got to make the 5 point here and hope. You've got to create a block against the back checker. So that's going to be 3. And he's going to play. Actually, I think he should probably play 11 to 5. Because then if he comes in with a funny number like 2-6 after being hit, he won't expose a second block. Now you make the bar 4-2. So what was hopeless not long ago has suddenly become potentially a position that Lawrence could win. Great game backgammon. 2 is good. Again, you've got to play this purely. There's no other way to do this. He desperately needs to make that. Oh, double 5. Now Lawrence's favourite. If he can roll something useful. So that's the 3 and cross the 5 with the hope of remaking the bar. Yep. Now he needs a 7. It's an 8. And this was the whole point about not advancing to the 9 point, because that would have been a horrendous. So he'll get hit. Oh, or will he? Yes, he will hit and make the bar. So 3 for Simon makes it exciting. 2-6 does not. 3 or an 8 for Lawrence. but not 9. This looks like 2 out. Yeah, leaving no attack on that side. So now if Simon's a genius, he'll roll 1-6 here. Okay, Lawrence is still thinking. I can't see what else he's going to do. He's not going to make the point. Oh, I see. He can make the point and hit. But now if he hits, he's got a direct escape, so I don't think that's right. I think that was a mistake by Lawrence. He's got the 4. I might as well leave. No, I'm not sure. I would probably leave that there because, in essence, if he rolls a 6, probably winning anyway. But there you go. This way, at least he gets shot. That's 1s and 11s. That's a 4 and 2. So that play of the 5-4, I think, was wrong. 6-1. Double 4 in return, just to give the punters some thrills. No. So 3, hang on, yeah, 3, what? I think you want to clear the 6 point as soon as possible, so you come in with the 3 and off with the 6, despite the fact that it leaves 6-2 next time. Otherwise, it's extended jeopardy, and you've still got those 2 points to clear, so wouldn't be my play, but again, I haven't got time to check it. So that would have cleared anyway. Gone. You seem to have frozen. Ah, here we go. We're back live. So this is looking very skinny. So Simon needs to roll a double for any excitement. There's the double. So Lawrence now needs to roll a 2. If he wins the match from here, the man's a genius. He hasn't. Okay. Thank you very much for listening. Hope you enjoyed it. No doubt we'll meet again over the course of the weekend, but I'm probably going to go for a well-earned nightcap at this point. Thanks, guys. Bye for now.
Yeah, it was a 5-4. I suddenly thought, well, I can do that. My instinct was that was my instinct. That was right. I can do that, but I don't know. But then I thought, well, wait a minute. I can just cancel and keep that, and I could make the nth back of the prime. You leave me 1s, don't you? What you had? I leave you. What was it? Was it like this? I leave you 1s. Was it something like this? Whatever. But you were leaving me aces, weren't you? I was leaving you aces, and I was leaving you 2s. But I had 2 ways of making the 6 prime at the end of that. I think I had another one out here. So I think by doing this and this, I've got 2 ways of making the 6 prime. Whereas the other way, I didn't. What was this for? And now this. So if I come out, I've got 1 way of making the 6 prime, and he hit his. Yeah, but you just got me an immediate deuce, which is disaster. Right there, I've got to roll an ace and 6. That's the simplistic way around. No, this is the same thing. This is a 2 and a 6. And I make the 6 prime with a 6 and a 3. Yeah, but when I hit with a deuce, I suppose it's the same. It's very similar. Yeah. But hold on, why is that? I mean, my instinct was that, and then I thought, wait a minute, I can do this. But then you haven't escaped. Maybe that's the. I haven't escaped, but then I don't need to escape. I mean, that's safety. That's also true. This is not an imposing prime. I got so lucky. It was ridiculous. Yeah, well, we'll see what the. I'm not sure about you, but 8-2. I decided. I think it might be a pass. I dropped at 9-4. When you cube at 9-4, I thought that's pretty optional from the. Yeah, I would pass. Yeah. was like 8 pips up or something.
Yeah. Even at school, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, you'll take points like normal, maybe even
Hey,
higher.
when they're slightly lower.